This time I wanted to talk a little bit about playing what you mean to play and how to get there. But it's something to think about, and you can actually practice certain things to get there. Or just pay attention to some things. Now, we learned how to play some certain chord forms in different positions. That's one way to get you around the neck. So if you kind of, you run out of things to say, so to speak. So I'm in the key of C major. And I'm kind of stuck. What else do I want to do? Well, you know other positions to play to these chords, right? All C major 7 chords. If you arpeggiate them, that's going to move you into a different place. So one way you could think, well, I can arpeggiate that, and it'll take me up the neck, and then I'll be somewhere else, and it might just spark another idea. So if I got stuck over here, where was I stuck on this E, I think? Well, that'll get you somewhere else too. Well, anyway. So I couldn't come here from there. Until it sparked something different. So I ended up just kind of exaggerating the arpeggios up here too. The idea and you can start working your way up. So let's see. There's that E I got stuck on, right? So I'm up here now. Oh, that's kind of nice. So I got the 9. Back to 1. And I like that 5 because I remember when I was here, I grabbed that. So I started a little something that with that. And you can continue with that theme. Come back up to that 5. Put different notes under it. It just gives you different ideas. So now you can move around the guitar. And then chromatics in there too. That'll spark some things. So moving up and down the guitar, because you know where those different chord forms are, and if you can arpeggiate them, it can just kind of catapult you into a different area of the guitar. So that's one way to not get bored and to come up with new ideas. Now, being able to play what you mean to play, I think it's very important to kind of learn to stick to playing to the changes. You know, not always. You know, if you're playing, like we're in C major, go to the D minor, E minor, or A minor, E minor 7 flat 5. Those are all in C major. So I mean, you could just think C major the whole time. But if I'm doing that and say I'm on the A minor, I might be really what I want to say there, you know, but I think of it like in A. Same notes. If you know your modes, you know, you'd be going Ionian, Dorian, what is it, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian. Minor 7 flat 5 be like a Locrian. Back to major or Ionian again. Now you can look at it like that. So I go up to the D minor 7. But what I'm doing there, I'm not thinking C major. Just because I know it works over the D minor chord, because that's the key we're in. It's like, what am I? I'm just meandering about. So I like to look at it, feel like I'm in D Dorian, even though it's the same notes. I think of it as D instead of thinking of it as C. So when I'm on the C chord, and do whatever I have to do. to stay interesting, when I go to the D minor, I'm thinking, I know where my root is for D. I know where my minor third is, my fifth, my flat 7, my 6th to make it a Dorian. And when you land on notes that are in the chord on a strong beat, per se, you know, it sounds more like something. Whatever that means, but I think you get my point. You can land on the 1 of the chord. Minor third. Back to the root. Maybe I want to land on the 7 of the C. And on the D minor, I want to play the 7 of the D minor. 7 of the E minor. Depending on where the chords are going, you know. But see, when I go to the F, that will be Lydian for F. But I don't want to think of it like C, because even though it's the same notes, I want to think of it like F. And then I'm back to C again. I want to play to the chord. Okay, if that's not too long-winded, I don't know what is, but I hope you get the point there. One other thing I wanted to mention when I was talking about arpeggios to catapult you somewhere else. It doesn't mean it has to be in order, such as an exact major 7 arpeggio. It can be just, if you can just picture the notes that are available, maybe you just want to play 1 note per string. And right away, I went to the 9 there. You know. Or just part of it, you know. See, that's not a C major, a 7 arpeggio here. That's a G major 1, 3, 5 triad. Starting on the 5. 5, 1, 3, 5 of the G. Inside the C. But all these notes are in C major. Point is, paying attention to what chord you're on. So you're playing to the chord. So I'm not just meandering about. I'm thinking of the changes. So, A minor, right? Say we go to D minor. G. Back to the C again, right? So if you kind of get the point through listening, it's hard to explain other than actually play to the changes. Now that comes in handy when the changes are not diatonic. You're going to be changing keys quite often just because of the chord changes. So when that happens, you'll already be used to using that kind of approach, which can be very helpful then at that point. Let's say, so in the key of C major, as we are, say going to the 6 minor, which is the A minor, which is diatonically correct, so you're still in C major. It goes to the an A7 with a major third flat 7, so dominant. Sometimes you'll hear something. Right? So that's just a 1, 6, 2, 5 change. Very typical. A lot of times it's a dominant chord, not diatonically correct in that same key. So you gotta be thinking you're an A, so you make sense out of it, right? So now what do? What I did there was basically like a Mixolydian. So a lot of times Mixolydian will work great over that. But we could get into that kind of stuff on another session. My point is, when you get used to playing to the chords that you're on at the time, it'll be very helpful in any kind of wacky situation you might run into, because otherwise it'd just be floating around out there and kind of get lost pretty quickly. Okay, so and even if you don't know all a million scales and all different approaches to these things, if you're paying attention to what chord you're on, at least you can target intervals of that chord. So say that C to the A7 again, just look at where your fingers are. You know you can use. Put a few chromatics in there and it sounds like something. Anyway, so without getting too crazy, that's kind of the point I wanted to get across today. And I hope it was fairly successful. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time.